யாத்திரை என்பது தொடர் கதையாகும். தென்றல் பூங்கரம் தீண்டிடும் போதும் சூரிய கீற்றொளி தோன்றிடும் போதும் மழலையின் தேன்மொழி செவியுறும் போதும் மாண்டவர் வாழ்ந்திடக்கூடும். மாண்டவர் சுவாசங்கள் காற்றுடன் சேர்ந்த தூயவர் கண்ணொளி சூரியன் சேர்ந்த பூதங்கள் ஐந்திலும் உன்னுடன் சேர்ந்த போனவர் புண்ணியம் எம்முடன் சேர்ந்த
India hal macam apa?
தமிழொப்பாய் பழத்தினின் சுவையொப்பாய் கண்ணீரை மணியொப்பாய் கடுவிருச்சுடரொப்பாய் மண்ணினை அடியார்கள் மனத்திடர்வாராமே வெண்ணிலை முருகாவோ போதலை கரியாவே நமந்தமர் புகுந்தென்னை நோதனை செய்தாலும் நுந்தரறியேன் நான் சாந்தனை வருமேலும் தவிர்த்தென்னை ஆட்கொண்ட வேந்தனே குருகாவோ வெள்ளடை நீ அன்றே மன வழக்கில் அடியார்கள் மனத்திரை மார்பாய் சலத்திரமிடுக்குடைய தருமன தமயன்னை கலக்குவான் வந்தாலும் கடந்துயர்வாராமே விளக்குவாய் குருகாவோ வல்லரை நீயன்றே அருவிபாய் உனக்கேயாய் பலரையும் பணியாவே தொழுவிப்பாய் துகினொருவாய் தோழுவானே கெடுவிப்பாய் அல்லாத கேடில்லா பொன்னை விடுவிப்பாய் குருகாவோ
Children, the purpose of holding the lighted candle, you must also continuously pray. The purpose of holding the lighted candle is to get the current flow of the Lord's grace. Okay? So therefore, please continue praying the Lord Almighty. Okay? Alright. நாங்கள் இங்கே ஆத்மாவை கொள்கொள்ள செய்த நாங்கள் ஆகவே இங்கே அங்கேயும் படிங்க படிங்க மாலை இருக்கா வேறு போகிறதுக்கு கொஞ்சம் மாலை பரவாயில்ல நீ ரெண்டு கொஞ்சம் தயவு செய்து சந்தனத்தில் வடிவ இறைவனுடைய திருவடியை அடைந்திட வேண்டும் என்று வணங்கி சந்திரன் அது மாலை ஒன்று இருக்குது, மாலையும் போட்டுருவாங்க. சந்தனத்தின் வடிவத்தை இறைவன் இறைவனுடைய திருப்படி அடைந்திட வேண்டும் என்று வணங்கி இறைவனை வணங்கி கொண்டு போகணும். நாங்கள் கொச்சுண்ணம் இடித்தும் நாமே என்று சொல்லியிருக்கல நீங்கள் 3 தரம் சரியா? திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். முத்துண்ணல் தாமம் பூமானி துக்கே முளைக்குடம் துபம் நல் தீபம் வைமேன் சத்தியும் சோமியும் பார்மகளும் நாமகளோடு பல்லாண்டி செய்மின் சித்தியும் கௌரியும் பார்ப்பதியும் கங்கையும் வந்து கவரி கொண்மின் அத்தன் ஐயாரன் அம்பானை பாடி ஆட பொச்சுண்ணம் இடித்துணமே நல்ல முடியும். பூவியல் வார்சடை எம்பினாக்கு பொத்திரு சுண்ணம் இடிக்க வேண்டும். மாவின் வடு வகிரண்ட கண்ணி வம்மின்கள் வந்துடன் பாடுமின்கள் கூவிமின் தொண்டர் புறம் நிலாமே கொனிமே தொழுமின் எங்கோ எங்குத்தன் தேவியும் தானும் வந்து எம்மையாள புஞ்சை சுண்ணம் சுந்தர நிரணிந்தும் மெழுகி தூய பொன்றிந்தி நிதி பரப்பியே இந்திரன் கற்பகம் நாட்டியங்கும் எழிற்சுடர் வயிற்று கொடியெழுமின் அந்தரர் கோர் அயந்தன் பெருமான் அடியாநாதன் நல்மேலன் கதை எந்தரம் ஆடுமையார் கொழுனற்கு ஏந்த பொற்றுண்ணம் இடித்து காசனி மின்கள் உலக்கையெல்லாம் காம்பணி மின்கள் கரையுரலையே நேசம் உடைய அடியவர்கள் நின்று நிலாவுக என்று வாழ்த்தி தேசம் எல்லாம் புகழ்ந்தாடும் கட்சி திரைய கம்பன் செம்பொற்கோயில் பாடி பாச வினையை பறித்து நின்று பாடி பொற்றுண்ணம் அருகடுப்பார் அயனும் மறியும் அன்றி மற்றிந்திரனோடமரர் நறுமுறுத்தவர் கணங்களெல்லாம் நம்மை வல்லதெடுக்க விட்டோம் செறிவுடை மும்மதில்லை தமிழ்நீ திரைய கம்பன் செம்பற்கோயில் பாடி முருவற்றம் வாயினி முக்கண்ணப்பக்கு ஆட சுண்ணம்
காண உலகங்கள் போதாரன்றே மெய்யனும்
மேலான பாட்டு
நிறைய பெருந்துரையார் செய்ய திருவடி பாடி பாடி செம்பொன்னுலகை வலகை பற்றி ஐயன் அழிதில்லை பாடலுக்கே ஆடவான் சுண்ணம் முத்தளி கொங்கைகள் ஆட மொய்குழல் வண்டினம் ஆட சித்தனும் சிவனும் ஆட செவ்வைய கண்பலி ஆட சித்தம்பிரானோடும் ஆட பிறவி பிறரோடும் ஆட அத்தன் கருணையோடும் ஆட
ஆடு நகை வாழ்
துடிப்ப பாடுவின் நந்தமை ஆடாரும் படி கொண்ட வண்ணமும் பாடி பாடி கருவின் மாதை தேடி சித்தம் கழிப்ப திகட்டு தேறி ஆளுமிர் நம்பல தாடினாக்கு ஆட போச்சுண்ணம் இடித்து மையவர் கண்டனை வாழ நாட மருந்தினை மாணிக்க சூத்தன் தன்னை ஐயனை ஐயனை நம்மை அகப்படுத்தாற் கொண்டு அருமை காட்டும் பொய்யகம் பொய்யனை மெய்யர் மெய்யை போதறிந்தார் பாறை நாடற்கரிய நலத்தை நந்தார் தேரை பழச்சுவை ஆயிரனானை சித்தம் புகுந்து தித்திக்கதல்ல கோடை பிறப்பரு தாண்டு கொண்ட கூகனை நாத்தழும் வேதவாட்டி பாலர் கடந்து மடந்தை பாடி போற்றும் ஆபதை நாமும் வந்தோடு ஆட்சிகள் வண்ணங்கள் பாடிவிலே தேவர்களாவிலும் கண்டறியா செம்மலர் பாதங்கள் காடு செல்வ செல்வமேந்திய வெல்கொடியார் சிவபெருமான் புற செற்ற சேவகன் நாமங்கள் பாடி பாடி செம்முன் செய்யுண்ணம் இடித்து தேனக மாமலர் கொன்றை பாடி சிவபுரம் பாடி திருச்சடை மேல் வானக மாமதி பிள்ளை பாடி மால்விடை பாடி வலகை உலக மாமடு சூலம் பாடி உம்பரும் இம்பரும் உயிர அன்று போலகமான சொந்தராடி போற்றி சுண்ணம் இடித்து அயன்களை கொண்டு
Children, please make a round this way, yeah? Okay. Make 3 rounds, please. Slowly.
அயன்களை கொன்று போதல் பாடி காலனை காலால் உதைத்தல் பாடி இயங்கன புறம் எய்தல் பாடி ஏழை அடியோமை ஆண்டு கொண்டு நயந்தனை பாடி ஆடி ஆடி நாடற்கும் சுண்ணம் இடித்து குதிரை மாலை பாடி மத்தம் பாடி மதியம் பாடி சித்தர்கள் பாடி சிற்றம்பலங்கள் செல்வம் பாடி கட்டிய மாசுனை கச்சை பாடி கங்கணம் பாடி இட்டு நின்றாலும் அறவம் பாடி ஈசற்கு சுண்ணம் வேதமும் வேள்வியும் ஆயினார்க்கு மெய்மையும் பொய்மையும் ஆயினார்க்கு சோதியும் ஆயிருள் ஆயினார்க்கு துன்பமும் ஆயின்பம் ஆயினார்க்கு பாதியுமாய் முற்றும் ஆயினார்க்கு பந்தமுமாய் வீடும் ஆயினார்க்கு
நீங்கள் தொடர்ந்து படித்து கொண்டு இருக்கோம்னா நான் தெரிஞ்சுன்னா விவசாயம் படிக்க போகிறேன் சிவபிராணமாக நாங்கள் இந்த நல்ல செய்திருக்கிறோம் அப்போ படிக்கிறோம் படிக்கலாம் சிவபிராண புத்தகம்னா திருவாசகம் புத்தகம் After that you can please be seated, please. ஐயா நீங்கள் வரலாம். காலில் தொடங்கி சிவன் கண்டி அந்த போட்டுருந்தோமே அடுத்ததாக வாய்க்கரிசி இடுதல். இந்த வாய்க்கரிசி, அந்த அரிசி என்பது போட்டால் முளைக்காது, அடையாளமாக மீண்டும் வந்து இந்த பூவிலகிலே பிறந்து அல்லற்படாமல், பிறவி என்பது துன்பமயமானது. எங்களுக்கு வயோதிபம், அதுக்கு பிறகு நோய், அதுக்கு பிறகு இறப்பு, ஆகவே யாவும் துன்பமயமானது. மீண்டும் வந்து இந்த பூவிலகிலே பிறந்து துன்பப்படாமல் இருப்பதற்காக, இறைவனை அடைய வேண்டும் என்பதற்காக அடையாளமாக இந்த வாய்க்கரசி இடுதல். ஆகவே வாய்க்கரசி இடுதலுக்கு அப்போது அந்த பெட்டிகள் மட்டும் வந்துருவோம். ஐயா வாங்க, என்ன மாதிரி செய்கிறது என்றால் வருங்க ஐயா. நீங்கள் பாருங்க ஐயா, இப்படி கொஞ்சம் கவசம் உதவியும் எடுத்து இப்படி இதில் ஒட்டி போடுறோம். உண்டக்கூடாது, இப்படி ஒட்டி போட்டு இதில் தான் இருக்கிறதா. ஆக இரத்த உறவுகள் மட்டும் பங்கு கொள்ளலாம். வருத்தல் அப்புறம் எடுத்துக்கலாம். ஒத்தி போட்டு நெஞ்சு அப்படி இறைவனுடைய திருவடி அடைந்திட வேண்டும் என்று நினைத்து வச்சுட்டீங்க. பாட்டு பாடிக்கின்றிருக்கலாமோ? நீங்க பாட்டு படிக்கலாமா? நெஞ்சம் உமக்கு இடமாக வைத்தேன், நினையாதொரு போதும் இருந்தறியே, வஞ்சம் இது முப்பது கண்டறியேன், வயிற்றோடு தொடக்கி முடக்குண்டாய நஞ்சாங்கி வந்தென்னையே அழிவதனை நல்காமற்றுரம் துகரந்துமிழே, அஞ்சேலும் மென்னி அதிகை அடில விரட்டான சுரையம்மானேங்கே. நீங்க படிக்கணும். சிவபாரங்கள் படிக்கணும்பா.
प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं देवमूलीकराचितलिङ्गं कामदहं तरुणाकरलिङ्गं रावणदर्पविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं सर्वसुगन्धसुलेपितलिङ्गं बुद्धिविवर्धनकारणलिङ्गं सिद्धसुरासुरवन्दितलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं कनकमहामणिभूषितलिङ्गं पणिपतिवेष्टितशोभितलिङ्गं दक्षसुयज्ञविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं कुङ्कुमचन्दनलेपितलिङ्गं पङ्कजहारसुशोभितलिङ्गं सञ्चितपापविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं देवगणाचितसेवितलिङ्गं भावये भक्तिभिरेव च लिङ्गं दिनकरकोटिप्रभाकरलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं अष्टदलोपरिवेशितलिङ्गं सर्वसमुद्भवकारणलिङ्गं अष्टदरिद्रविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं सुरगुरुसुरवरपूजितलिङ्गं सुरवणपुष्पसदाचितलिङ्गं परमात्मनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं लिङ्गांशकमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते.
மாலை இங்கே இருக்கிற தெரியாமல் போகுது. இந்த மாலையை போட்டு விட கடமை என்ன?
Thank you all for coming to celebrate the life of Kanapathipillai Sabanayagam. I am Shankar. Sala's elder brothers, grandchildren. But for me,
Tendu ayam puding, tendu ayam puding amma. Malu tendu ayam puding. The paper one.
And Kunjamma were effectively an expression of grandparents. Whenever I saw Chitta Baba, we were so lucky and able to be greeted by positivity. Closer. Always positivity, a loving hug, and a genuine conversation. No matter what mood you came into a conversation with Chitta Baba with, you left feeling happy and ready to spread that positivity with whoever else you were seeing. Over the last few weeks, it has brought great sadness knowing that he had to fight illness and that we could not fight it for him. As he is resting now, I am reassured that he spent a lifetime cultivating his amazing qualities and shared that with us. Any conversation with Nani Chidaba or Judy Chidaba, you will always see his genuine care and kindness and optimism. And Kunjamma embodies it all, always with her signature smile. We have some speakers today to share their stories of Chitta Baba. I'll start with Aaron and Mama, who has come all the way from Canada for this occasion.
Thank you, Shankar. Hello everyone. On behalf of Sinamami, Jnani, Sumi, Choti, Vijita, Asamama, and Amma, I want to thank all of you who are present here and those who are watching from abroad for uniting on this very sad yet very important day. Together, we will reflect on the beautiful life my loving Sinamama lived and send him off to be with the ones who left us before him. Jnani, when you asked me to speak today, I knew my words will not do justice to Sinamama, who was the man larger than life. Nevertheless, it is an honor to stand here, Machan, and for that I thank you. Australia has always been my favorite place to visit. It's home to some of the world's most unique species. It's only here you'll find the male Kanapathipillai offerings. It's where I come to sit and do nothing, talk forever with my favorite cousins, and feel completely rejuvenated. Typically, my trips down here would be well planned. In March of this year, Chuti and Vijita's wedding was the highlight. Dashi, kids and I had a fabulous time. So much so, I've been asked by Dashi to consider moving here for good. It was towards that end of that beautiful trip, Sinamama had tested positive for COVID, and we left without being able to say bye to him in person. On April 13th, things took a very sharp turn. I got a call from Ranjana early morning to say Sinamama's condition at the hospital was not good. He asked me to get in touch with Amma and Akash and do what we felt was necessary. Even before the conversation ended, I was at Amma's. Things were happening so fast. Next thing I know, we were at Toronto Airport boarding a plane to Melbourne. My justification of that trip was very simple. Whatever the outcome is, Amma had to come here and spend time with Sinamama and Asamama. I'm so glad she came. Under Asamama's loving hospitality and support of everyone else, Amma was able to rest well and focus on being there for her Kambi. I'm more than sure Sinamama was pleased to have his Sinaka by his bedside, joining force with Sinamami in trying to feed him whatever they can and give him lectures on the importance of eating to stay alive. It was just pure love in that room. When Amma and I left Melbourne, we were so hopeful Mama will return home. Then came last Thursday. It was made clear to me that Mama didn't have much time remaining at the hospital. Sivera and I had to convey this message to Amma in person at 4 in the morning. From there, it was all about saying bye to Sinamama. Next day, Mama was gone. Just like that. At that point, I did what I would think twice about doing. I embarked on my third trip to Melbourne in just over a month, and I'm here. Just before I left, I had some of my family members and even my travel agent express concern about this trip. Not just for financial reasons, but they probably had Dashi and kids in mind as well. All those concerns were genuine. But I need to make a point here. My take on life is that it's way too short. My number one goal in life is not financial security. When I die, I want to go knowing my time here was mostly spent with the people I love, not at work. When I look at how we have come together today as a family for Sindamama, I feel so blessed to have been born in this family. I will not trade that for anything, never. Sindamami, I honestly don't even have the strength to control you. You made Sindamama the happiest man on this planet just by being you. He took his last breath on Friday in the hands of the love of his life. The two precious children you gave birth to will continue his legacy. The next few days, months and years are going to be extremely difficult. Whenever you miss Sindamama, just talk to Jnani and Chuti. You will pretty much be talking to Mama himself. Jnani, there's a famous Kural in Tamil. Makan Tattai Kaattu Mudavi, Ivan Tattai Innottan Kol Enum Sol. You have done exactly that, Machan. Don't ever doubt that. Your Amma is worried, you're not showing your emotions and holding on to everything inside. But I know the side of you, many here don't. So I'm not worried at all. You go ahead and grieve however you want to at your own pace. Just know one thing that if you need me here, just send me a text and I'll text you back my flight details. Chuti, when Appu and Amma died in the 80s, you and I were running around at their funerals not fully understanding what was going on. I wish we could be those same kids today so we don't have to go through all this. But reality has struck Machi. I have so much to tell you and I'll do that in private. But here, I just want to say something and I really need you to understand this clearly. Your marriage to Vijita is a beautiful bond. Sindamama and Mami laid the foundation for it. Your wedding day was an independent event that was organized to mark the official beginning of that bond. That day your Appa cried behind the Manavare. It was his way of saying, yes, mission accomplished. What happened to Appa right after was something that was happening all around the world to a lot of people. I don't want you to establish a causal link between your wedding and Appa's illness. It's not good, Machi. You don't deserve it, nor does Vijita. Go ahead and enjoy life, Machan. Make memories, do all that your Appa would have wanted you to do. People, the debate about the existence of God is probably old as mankind itself. I'm not going to reignite that here. But I will probably say, we have a God-like being who's part of our family. It's none other than our Sivaranda. Because he's so attached to us, we easily take him for granted and not realize the amount of pain he has endured for us, especially in the past 5 weeks while he was coordinating the medical care of Sindamama at Austin. He not only made sure the level of care Mama received was the ultimate, he himself took the time to provide updates to many of us whenever we called. We may not realize this, but what we did was give Sindamama to Sivarana and said, here, he's all yours. That's how much we trust him and rely on him. And every time we do, he keeps on giving his best to us. Now, isn't that what we have come to call God? I've never heard Sivarana cry until last week while he was in Canada. As he was crying, he said, my answer to you, Sivarana, you have done more than what anyone can ask for. I love you so much, and I'm sorry on our family's behalf for being so blindly dependent on you. I hope you understand. Once again, I thank you all for being here today. It means so much. Special thanks to the entire medical team at Austin. Thank you, Ranjana, for being the mastermind of many behind-the-scene aspects of Mama's care and organizing this funeral ceremony. Thank you, Satyana and Arul, for keeping an eye on Sindamama during Sindamama's time away from Melbourne. Thank you, Chandraka, for being a pillar to Sindamama during the hardest time of her life. My sincere condolences to all of you. I love you all. I love you, Sindamama. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun Mama. Milton Fernando, a friend of Chittababa's, has sent a tribute, which my Chinnaka Mayuri will read out now.
everyone. As Shaka mentioned, this is from Chitapapa's friend, dear friend of over 50 years, Milton Fernando. He sent this email in and I'll read it out today. I ease my grief because for me you are not all gone, as you live in my heart as a glut of memories gush forth. Memories die last and die hard, especially when we have spanned through a friendship almost 50 years, serving 2 parliaments, 2 secretary generals and 4 honourable speakers, prepping 2 constitutions, scanning the English text with the Tamil to pick any deviant, proofreading the Tamil text before it became the law of the land, and in the last phase, traversing 2 continents. Overseeing the massive logistic task of transition from the old Gallifey's Parliament to the new Parliament, by the Diwana Oya, indeed, you shouldered a fair share of ensuring no heirloom, no historical document got lost in transition. You were such a good buddy. A reel runs through in my mind of the photos we had on the manicured green of the MP's holiday home in Nuwara, where we were there on an auctioneering mission. Through 50-odd years from the day in the mid-70s when you came to sit 2 desks away from me in the Gallifey's Parliament, in the order paper and minutes bureau, memories meander how we sat together into the night to make sure the members of Parliament got the order paper for the next day, irrespective whether the House adjourned at 11 or midnight. We ran between rain or sunshine, shuttling delegates from airport to hotel or vice versa. Took them on tours when they were here for the inter-parliamentary conferences. It was so much fun then with you around, bringing out a laugh in your special way, with your brother Siva joining us sometimes. The Secretary-General of Parliament, Mr. Sam Wijesinha, responding to a request from the Madam Prime Minister, we in Parliament just in 2 weeks turned the Shravasti, the MP's hostel, into a hotel to house the Overseas Press Corps of the Non-Aligned Conference. In the evening, we shared the fun with a beer in hand. When you fled down under to grab the job coming your way, even forsaking your rightly earned pension, you, until your last day in Parliament, kept deputising me in the consultative committees set up, leaving me to sit cosily in the daily committees. I caught up with you again in Melbourne when I sailed in, first to Canberra, then Sydney and Brisbane. Me, Chitra, my daughter, Amodini and Anara, we all had the first glimpse of you after 2 decades when you visited us in Brisbane, returning back home, completing the 3-month-long interpreting billet, translating from Tamil to English in a refugee camp housed in the deep northern town of Weipa. After seeing you and your family through weddings and holidays, intermittently chatting on the phone, during the last 25 years, I heard you last on April 16 from your hospital bed in Melbourne. Not hearing your full-bodied husky voice and seeing how you were labouring to bring out the words, I said simply, "Stop talking, Saba, I will do the talking." Thereafter, I talked only to your beloved Nalla or son Gajan. Yet, before you breathed your last on that fateful day of May 6th, my dear Saba, you still remembered to wish me and Chitra on our double birthday on April 24th. Even then, I could hear the love in your voice, the smile in your face. It still adds a tear when we ponder on your wonderful act. We'll remember those memorable last words of yours. I refuse to think you are gone, because the memories meander, and knowing we are fellow travellers in the sea of samsara, intrepid sojourners we are, we may meet again one day in the cycle of samsara. As your sacred Bhagavad Gita says about the undying spirit, so it is about memories. None can rob the memories. Fire does not burn it, water does not drown it, wind does not blow it away, for memories cannot be robbed, drowned, or cut asunder. My dear Saba, may the gods facilitate your journey through eons to come. Milton.
would now have some of my generation to share their beloved memories of Chittapapa. Let's start with Sabanayagam.
Beloved family and friends, my name is Saranya, and Saba, as he was affectionately referred to by many of you, was my Kunjapata, or my grandfather's younger brother. To know Kunjapata was akin to truly loving him. There wasn't a room that he wouldn't brighten up with his radiant smile and gentle temperament. Family meant everything to him, and he was the type of person who had room in his heart for everyone. He never spoke an unkind word or had an ill thought for anyone. He genuinely wished well for all those he encountered. Growing up, I enjoyed being in his company because I knew I would always be greeted with the warmest hug and most genuine smile. But as an adult, I'm able to see that there is so much to learn from the man that Kunjapata was. There are endless stories that I've been told about Kunjapata and have witnessed myself, but I'd like to share a few that illustrate his incredible qualities. He was selflessly loving and fulfilled all the roles in his life with utmost diligence and care. When Kunjapati was unwell a few years ago, he would often lament that he would rather bear this suffering than let anything happen to his beloved wife. This is the kind of unconditional love that is rare to find, and Kunjapata had this for everyone in his life. He was also immensely organised and meticulous. My Amama's birthday is 6 months from now, it's in November, and he had already gotten her a card prior to his passing. This shows the amount of care and love for all those that he has in his life. Looking at these photos, you can see how immaculately Kunjapata was always dressed. His hair always combed, his facial hair neatly groomed, and his shirt always pristine. To visualize the type of man Kunjapata was, you have to look no further than his children. You can see him through Chuti Mama's gentle disposition and kind smile, and Yani Mama's work ethic and keen eye for detail. Kunjapata, I hope you have been reunited with Pata, Pediyapati, and all of our past loved ones. We pray that your soul has reached the Almighty Lord and that you rest in eternal peace.
I now welcome Manjari Akka, the eldest among us young ones, to speak about her beloved Kunjapata.
Oh Kunjapata, it just doesn't feel real. I don't think it has hit me yet, and I'm not sure it ever will. It feels like yesterday you were at our place for Amma's 60th, telling me you couldn't eat any more short eats because you had suddenly become health conscious, but snuck in some extra fish cutlets once you had found out that I had made them. For my birthday this year, you insisted that I open my birthday card in front of you and place the card next to the cake with the numbers 30 visible because you felt everyone needed to see my age. You had a nice chuckle at my expense. Kunjapata, you may have been widely known as a quiet man, but those who knew you intimately knew you were quite the comedian. Before there were kids running around everywhere, you were my very first friend. And with my grandparents still in Jaffna when I was born, you were one of the first grandfather figures that I knew, loved, and dearly cherished. I'm often reminded I was a crybaby as a child. Many people in this room can attest to that. But you were one of the few people that could carry me without sending me into a total chaotic meltdown.
Amma often shares stories from her childhood with me. Kunjapata, you are often at the forefront of these stories. From offering to pay for Amma's education if she wanted to pursue higher studies, to lending her the money so she could make a new start in Australia, you were always there for her, like you have been for many people in this room over the years. Kunjapata was very fond of my Amma, his Anni. He had so much love for my Amma that, as Saranya mentioned just now, Kunjapati told me earlier this week that he had even purchased her 90th birthday card for her November birthday. Kunjapata, I will miss your kind and sometimes cheeky smile, your tight but warm embrace, that iconic Kanapathipillai kiss, or should I say sniff. How you still greeted me with a muttu muttu, gently putting your forehead on mine, even though I was no longer a child. And how you would wait till our car would turn the corner of Chariot Street before you went back inside your home after a visit. I will mostly miss your quiet and sincere nature that never wavered in the entire time I've known and loved you. Kunjapati, even though Kunjapata is no longer with us, we will always love you the same way we loved him. Kunjapata, I know you will always be watching over us and blessing us as you did while you were still alive. I know that my Pata and Periya Pati will be waiting up there to welcome their Tampi Saba with open arms. I will love you forever, Kunjapata. May your soul rest in eternal peace.
We now have Sabani.
Many people assumed that I had 4 grandparents, when in reality I had Amma and Atata with me. I realized it's not the most conventional way of calling our Appas Chitappa, especially when all my Annas and Akkas had already started to call him Chitapapa, but to me he always was and always will be my Atata. For those of you who don't know, Amma, Appa and I were most fortunate to live next door to Amma, Atata and Chudiana for majority of my life. This meant over the years a lot of sleepovers. However, every week without fail, I'd be waking up asking him to take me home at 2 or 3 in the morning. Never once did he complain. It was as if he knew it was going to happen, and every time he'd walk maybe the 20 to 30 steps it took to get me back to the back window of the bathroom till Amma Appa would wake up and unlock the back door. It goes without saying that my Atata was always there for me throughout my life. He used to pick me up from school and bring me home all the time, and was a frequent visitor to my school on Grandparents' Day. He took such great care of me, Soraya and Rahana over the years that there are no words that could express my gratitude. I still remember the first time Amma and Appa had let me stay home by myself. They had told Atata and Amma, even though it was just a simple trip to the local Woolworths. However, 2 minutes after I locked up behind Amma and Appa, Atata was banging on my back door to make sure that I was okay. He then proceeded to stay with me until Amma and Appa got back. I will forever cherish my memories with Atata. The way he called me darling, the way that he used to have his glasses sit on the very tip of his nose while he was completing a crossword puzzle or a Sudoku puzzle, or any puzzle that was in that morning's newspaper. I will always cherish the delicious after-school snacks that he made me. This would usually be mashed avocados mixed with milk and sugar. I know it sounds not that great, but trust me, you don't know until you've tried it. I still consider it the best snack of all time. After our Hawaii trip 11 years ago, Atata and I built up the practice of saying aloha no pumehana to each other. This roughly translates to I love you. And so I have one message for my Atata. Goodbye Atata, aloha no pumehana.
Now we have Chitta Papa's eldest granddaughter, Soraya, to say some words.
Dear Papa, I hope you're having a nice time in heaven. We're going to
Dear Papa, I hope you're having a nice time in heaven. Who have you met? Have you met Kanapathipillai? What is it like? We're grateful to have you in our lives. My Papa was a good person. Everyone in our family, friends, and even people who only knew him as an acquaintance were very fond of him. He was ever smiling, generous, and kind-hearted. The only time I ever saw him yell was at Appa, and it wasn't even that loud. As my grandpa, I had the privilege of having him be a part of my life since birth. A lot of people aren't as fortunate to have all four grandparents help raise them. I'm very grateful for that. Appa drove me back from school often and always took active interest in how my day went. Appa was one of my biggest supporters and was always there to celebrate my successes, however big or small. He helped me do things like Sudoku and helped me with my homework. He always made sure Rehana and I had our favourite fruits to eat. Appa put us, including Sambiaka, to sleep singing Kanapathipillai. This is something I will never forget. When people pass away, it's sad. But people should now celebrate Appa because he wouldn't want to see us sad. Appa, Rehana and I will miss you calling me your salam. And all the good times that I will always cherish, the wonderful memories that we built together. I love you so very much. Love from Soraya.
I now call on Nani Chittappa, Chittapapa's beloved son, to say some words.
I didn't actually prepare the speech. I wasn't intending to speak today. My insisted that I did, so I'm just going to wing it. To know Appa, you would have just heard everyone saying that Appa was a, how can I say, happy-go-lucky, always smiling, keeping everyone entertained. But what you don't know is that he's an introvert. And he's an introvert, yet attracted everyone towards him. And I just don't know how he did it. And to that extent, I don't know how he attracted Amma, because he was a love marriage. So I still, to this day, don't know how he managed to win her over. But what I do know is that the love for Amma that Appa had is something that I had never seen in any other couple. And I'm not just saying that. He didn't say much whether he loved someone. He wouldn't say that he loved them, but he would show it by action. That was Appa. And he did that with Amma till literally the last breath. He did not let her suffer. While he was suffering inside, he made sure that she didn't suffer. In his own way, he made sure that she didn't. And I know that he did hurt inside, but he didn't want Amma to know, because that's how caring and loving Appa was towards, especially Amma, but especially towards everyone that he cared for and loved for. Now, with Chuti and I, Appa was Appa until we were about 14, 15 years. And then he was like a friend. Appa would never tell us what to do. He encouraged us to do everything that we wanted to do, and he supported us no matter what we wanted to do. And again, without actually coming out and saying it, but with his actions, he actually showed that we could achieve anything and everything that we put our heart and mind to. And that is typical Appa. And when it comes to kids, and particularly the grandkids and Sambi, Sambi was his first grandchild for all intents and purposes, it came so naturally for him. We call him the baby whisperer. All the kids, no matter who they are, they all were attracted to him and attached to him. And every child that you will speak to will actually attest to that. I'm actually sad that Appa's not here, but I keep insisting to Amma and Chuti that we need to celebrate Appa. That is the type of person that he was, and I would like to reiterate that to everyone that is here, that Appa was full of life. He enjoyed life, and I don't think he would want us to be sad for too long and dwelling on what could have been. I would like us to celebrate the 76 years that he had with us without, or rather 76 years of healthy life that he had with us and an enjoyable life that he had with us. And I would like to reiterate to everyone that we need to celebrate that. And I will celebrate that, and I'm sure Amma and Chuti will do in due course. And I would like to firstly thank everyone for coming here today. I know it's a short notice. We didn't want to keep up for too long. We wanted to get this done quickly, so I know it is a very short notice. So I do thank you all for coming here at such a short notice. And I would like to in particular thank Periana for all the reasons that I know he wouldn't like this, but for all the reasons that Arun just mentioned earlier. It is terribly hard to be a son, but he was to Appa, and having to manage everything emotionally, yet not show it to the rest of the family, so that we won't feel the hurt, or we won't know the story. To manage that process whilst knowing what's going on, it's not easy. And to that I thank Perry for managing that so delicately. And I'm not going to go to any individuals to thank, because it's only unfair if I miss someone, but I do want to say thank you for taking everyone who took care of Amma, particularly in the last 5 weeks when Appa was in hospital, taking her from home to the hospital, to and from twice a day, and spending time with her at the hospital with Appa, and of course showing encouragement or support to us during the course of the 5 weeks, hoping that Appa will come back. And lastly but not leastly, I would like to thank staff at ICU at the Austin Health and all the staff at Ward 5 East rather, for taking such good care of Appa in that in the 5 weeks that he was at the hospital. And I was telling everyone, even the Queen herself would not have received the treatment that Appa received at the hospital. And for that, I do thank from the bottom of my heart, and so does Amma and children. I know Appa leaves behind a void in Amma's heart that we will never be able to fill, but Amma know that we will always be there. Even if Amma or Chuti is not there, there are thousands of other people that will take care of you. And you know that, and we know that. Appa, I love you so much, and I will see you when I see you. Thank you.
Finally, I would like to call Periappa to say some words.
I don't want to prolong the pain
pain and the agony, but I just wanted to share a few words. Kunjaya, as you heard, you've seen in the photos, you've seen he was happy, but for us, when we were 4 or 5, me and particularly Ranju, he has been a constant presence in our life. He was Appa's shadow. Went to school, Appa got him to St. John's, then he went, once he finished his schooling, went to work at the government press, and then Appa got him to Parliament. Ever since we remember, he was just Appa's shadow throughout our lives. 1984 to 1989, the 5-year period when we were in Australia and they didn't get here. That was the only time I know in my life that we didn't see him as part of us. Long time ago, he introduced Kunjama to us. I don't know, some of you might remember this. There was a movie called Arangetram, and he took us to the movie theatre, and that's where Kunjama was introduced to Ranju and I. And Kunjama has been a constant presence since that day to come. His illness, a lot of people have asked what the problem was and why this is an issue, why he's suddenly no more. 5 weeks ago he was totally healthy, he was driving, he was doing everything. But Kunjaya had cardiomyopathy for 24 years, 1998, when Sati and I referred him to a cardiologist, and I still to this day thank the cardiologist because the magnificent care that he gave him over the 24 years, that he never went into heart failure for 24 years. And then unfortunately the bout of COVID infection, and even that didn't affect his lungs initially, but then he had the COVID fibrosis and that was too much for his heart. And well before the end, on the 14th to be precise, when we had to move him to ICU the 3rd time, I knew he was not going to come home. Being something that I see every day, I had to prepare Appa, I had to prepare Kunjama in my own way. The boys knew, my brothers knew. We have never had Jnani and Chuti were number 7 and 8. They were not any different to us. When we put him in ICU that night, and his kidneys were not working, and the intensive care consultant asked him about dialysis, and he said, "Shall I call your wife or your son?" He said, "No, Dr. Sivan, he's more than a son." It was so difficult. I had to get the boys ready mentally, and that's why I left. They needed some time with him. The only thing he asked me was, make sure Kunjama was right. I said, "You don't have to tell us that." Kunjaya will keep the voice. He told me that the greatest thing that happened to him was Appa was there to look after him all along. And I don't think I've ever been shaken up this much in my life, simply because of the illness and the rapidity. I deal with it every day. Even just now I had a text message, one of my patients with severe angina needing heart surgery has tested positive for COVID. The family are up in arms, they want the patient out of isolation. Just now, just not even a minute ago, I had to reply to that. We deal with that, but this was different. This was so difficult, but he had a wonderful life. And Kunjama
he's run the race, we had to let go of him so that, we weren't being unfair to him at the end. And I'm so glad that we managed to look after him till the very end. And we look after you whilst we are all around. Thank you.
We now have the floral tribute. We have Zambi and Soraya holding the flowers. So if people would like to start, you will get that going. Thank you. Floral tribute.
Next is a floral tribute by the congregation. After the floral tribute, we have got another 2 more rituals yet to complete. After the floral tribute, please remain seated. We are going to start from this end and start from this side and going to finish it on that side. So please come in order and pay your respect. During the floral tribute, Svapranam will be sung. For those who know the Svapranam, please recite those songs and pay your respects. Thank you very much. As I want to repeat it, sorry, I want to repeat it again. Please remain seated after the floral tribute. We are yet to finish another 2 more. Thank you very much. I will show you as to how to do the floral tribute. Please recite those songs. One second. Praise the Lord Almighty all the time. செடிசேர் உடனை செலநீக்கி சிவலோகத்தே நம வைப்பாம் பொடிசேர் மேனி புயங்கந்தன் பூவார்களுக்கே புகவிடுமை. பொடிசேர் மேனி புயங்கந்தன் பூவார்களுக்கே புகவிடுமை. இறைவனுடைய திருவடி அடைய வேண்டும் என்று நீங்களும் இறைவனை வேண்டி இந்த பூக்களை எடுத்து அப்படியே அவருடைய திருவடியில் நீங்கள் சாற்றி விடுங்கள். Om Namah Shivaya. Okay, we are going to start from this side. Pick up the flowers, come this